Hi friends, thanks for joining me today. Welcome to Grimoire Club Part 2. This is the one we've all been waiting for. We have decided what kind of book we're going to make. We've gathered our supplies. We are ready to go. And now we're going to add some content. In my mug today is Brigadoon by Adagio Teas. It is Assam tea, Kimoon tea, silver needle tea, and blue cornflower. This one is very good. This tea is only available on February 29th, and every 4 years I stock up because it's quite tasty. Before we start writing, make sure that you have everything that you're going to need within reach. Now, you're going to have a month or really more, however much time you need to work on this. So it's okay if something is not here with you. Like I forgot to grab my colored pencils. I have everything else. I have some straight edges in case I need them. I have my book of notes, so I know what I want to write down. I even found a stencil that I may or may not use. I have my colored pens. I have the pen that I will be writing with. Now this one is a Pentel Energel permanent gel ink. So not the regular ones. This one's like the Pro pen. This is an archival ink. They don't all have them. I have a pencil. I have some paper clips that are going to come in handy. I have my pen test so I know how colors show up on my paper. And I have my stacks of paper. This is more than I'm going to need today, but this is everything that I have prepared so far. Looking around, like that's really everything that I need in easy reach. I can always come back later or as I work through over the next month and add things like color if I want to use colored pencils, or I did pull a stencil that has some fun kind of banners on it that I may end up using, or I may not, and that's fine, but it's nearby in case I want that. So I have prepared my space. I have already shown you my tea. I do have a candle burning. It's over there. So before we get started, maybe set your space. If you feel like casting a circle, you may do so. Take a moment to center yourself, to ground, feel your energy into the earth, and focus on the task at hand. We are building our grimoires. This should be a meaningful spiritual practice. And then we begin. So I want to strongly suggest that you take your time here. Think and reflect. So the process is the same, whether you're using a ready-made book or blank pages. Binder, maybe not so much. Like you can add pages anywhere in a binder. And if you're doing it digitally, you can add pages wherever you need as well. But if you're working with a already bound book, like something like this or something like this, the process is going to be the same. If you're working with loose pages like I am, also the same thing. So the first thing that we're going to do is skip the first page. This page is what holds your book into its cover, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So we have this, let me see if I can actually get it. When I open up my book, I have this thicker kind of cardstock here. That is called an end page. And if you see, this page is actually glued to the very first page of the text block. That's what keeps the book in its cover. Just that little line of glue there. So this first page is often left blank. If you're using a book like this, skip that first page. If you're using blank sheets, here's my one signature. We're gonna skip this first page because this is where we're gonna glue it into the cover. So for most books, this is just not a usable sheet of paper. And we're gonna skip the second page. Now, when I say first page, I mean front and back. We're gonna just skip this entire leaf of paper. And then we're going to skip this entire leaf of paper, front and back. That one is where we're going to end up putting our dedication. When we're done filling our books with content, we will dedicate our books to our practice. That's going to go on that very first page there. Then skip the third page. This is where our index is going, or our table of contents. If you choose to number your pages, you can come back here and fill in what is in each section, and that's how you know where to find it if you need to look something up in your book later. You may want to mark this page, since we know that's where our table of contents is going. I am slipping a paper clip onto this page. So that is 1, 2, 3 pages. Now, if you think you're going to have a lot of sections, I don't think it's going to be too much. I think we can fit it all on just these 2 pages. If you want to add an extra page just for your own peace of mind, then feel free to do so. I'm going to start right in on the next page. I do want to talk a little bit about the table of contents. If you've ever kept a bullet journal before, then this should be familiar. Since we're making our own books, we can number them or not as we choose, and we can also write the pages and subjects here to find them easily later. It's a good practice to get into when you make your own books. You can fill this out as you go, or wait to the end and go back and fill it all at once, whatever feels easy and natural to you. I've not decided yet how I'm going to do it, so for now I'm just going to skip that page and leave it blank. So we're starting on the 4th page. This section is for information about you. If you have a ritual name, a magical name, a chosen name, write that here. Then take the next few pages to write about your personal spiritual philosophy, which is what I will call this section. What do you believe? What is your practice to you? Is there a poem that you find inspiring? A lot of people might put The Charge of the Goddess in this section. What does magic mean to you, or being a witch? Write that here and take as many pages as you need. The next section is your magical journey. When did you start on this path? When did you dedicate yourself? How has your journey changed from where you began to where you are now? I haven't given you a lot of questions to answer here, but accept that this section can be lengthy. Depending on how good your memory is, how long you've been practicing, take time to think about this and then leave some blank pages, maybe a full signature, to write more as your journey continues. You will probably run out of space here eventually, and that's expected. Maybe you could plan to keep a supplemental notebook to continue to add to it if you outgrow the space you've left here. Or you can outgrow a section, and that might mean it's time to rewrite your book. Continuing about you, if you follow astrology, put that in the next section. Information from your natal chart or your zodiac. This won't be relevant to everyone, but I included it here because I have found that there are many people on this path who have an interest in this area. This is for personal meanings to you, not a planetary correspondence list. That's at another part of the book. Right now, if you follow your zodiac at all, just write your part of it. And then in another part of the book, there will be space for information about all of the other signs. And the last part of the About You section is coven information. I put this at the end because not everyone has or wants a coven. And also, your grimoire is first and foremost your book and your spiritual journey. If you do have a coven, you can write relevant information here, when it was established, your day of dedication, rules and bylaws, things like that. If you are not part of a coven but want to be, you can use this section to write about what you're looking for in a coven. Putting the energy out there can help bring it to you. That is all the content that we have for this section. At first, I thought I was going to call it About Me, but now I think I'm going to call it Who Am I? That's what I'm going to title this area. And that's just my personal preference. And you can think about that over the course of the next month and make a decision on what you want to include. So if you want to number every single one of your pages, feel free to go back and do that now. You might number every page or just the first page in a section. If you want to write your table of contents as you go, now is the time to start filling that out too. If you want to flag your sections so that you can find them easily, do that here. You could use paper clips, which is what I have available, or page flags, which I thought I had available, but I don't. I am sometimes fond of putting like a strip of washi tape on the edge to mark a section. You may choose to do that. Some people might come in with like distress ink or some other kind of stamp ink and ink the edges of your paper, and maybe each section will have a different color. That's a choice that you may make, or you can always come back and decide later how you want to do that. Take the next month to think about these sections. Maybe come back and watch the video again so you know what you're working on. You do not have to expect to be done with this work in a day or even in a month. Take your time, but don't be concerned with writing the correct thing. It is okay to be merely satisfied with what you have included, and it's okay to leave pages blank or skip sections altogether. We are not striving for perfection here, so I don't want you to focus on completeness or that it has to be absolutely perfect. Like, never make a mistake, never misspell a word, never have an errant pin mark. It's okay. Those little bits of character in a book is partially what makes it your own. So remember that we're not striving for perfection. We're just striving to complete the project. And I hope it's a satisfying journey. I found when I was writing my notes that it was pleasing to me to go back through and think about what put me on this path. I was a teenager, I was 14, and I've been doing this for a very long time. This has been my spirituality for decades. And it's been fun to think about where it began and how it started and all of the steps that I have gone through in my life to get to this point in my spiritual journey. It is still a journey and it's still changing, and it's very possible in 1, 2, 5 years from now, I'm going to be in a completely different place than I am today. And then it will probably be time to rewrite my book. 2 things I want to add that I forgot to mention. I started writing a title at the top of my page. Title at the top, right down there. You may do that. Right away, this is why I start in pencil. I erased it and ended up doing a title page and then started to put my content on the next page. That absolutely is an option if you wanted to do that. In the clip I showed, you might have noticed that I put a piece of paper on top of my writing and kind of moved my hands over it. If you are using writing utensils that are particularly wet, you might want to blot your page before moving on. What that does, and that's basically what my blank page on top, kind of rub it along, try not to move either paper when they're together. What blotting does is one page will soak up the excess liquid from the page beneath it, so it won't transfer on to another paper. Usually there's a specific kind of paper that you would use for blotting pages. I actually have one, but it's not here in front of me right now. As it turns out, my archival inks dry really quickly, so I don't need to blot, but it could be helpful to try all of your writing utensils on a spare sheet of paper to see how wet it is, how long it takes to dry. Because if you're really in the zone and you're writing down and turning a page and writing down and turning a page, you don't want any of the excess moisture from your ink to impress upon the previous page. So you might need to blot. That is what I have for you today. Feel free to go back, jot down some notes on the questions that you're answering, and take the next month or so to work on your first section. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm grateful for you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.